Government is still shut down, very sadly. It is day 28 right now. By the time you were watching this video, it'd probably be day 29. As a reminder, the longest ever government shutdown is 34 days. So we're 6 days away from that. It's getting real close. And I felt somewhat strongly that it was going to end before 34 days because Trump cares a lot about, the story. And it seems like he wouldn't want to have the longest shutdown ever.
Right.
But there's no movement on it still at all. But as a reminder, the 1 month mark is where shit really gets kind of crazy.
I mean, it's already starting to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some things that are happening. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said, what I see coming forward, you're going to see more staffing shortage in air control towers, which means you're going to see more delays and more cancellations. Then he's talking about, this is on Fox News, he's talking about the air traffic controllers. They got a big fat zero. No paycheck is coming on Tuesday. So I've been out talking to our air traffic controllers and you can see the stress. So the Department of Transportation is saying there's going to be more and more delays if this doesn't stop. The USDA, the Department of Agriculture, which we learned recently for some reason is responsible for food stamps, they are not sending out food stamps starting November 1st. That's in 3 days. There are 40 million Americans who use food stamps to get by. So on their page, if you go there, it's a big warning things that said Senate Democrats have now voted 12 times to not fund the food stamp program. Bottom line, the well has run dry. There will be no benefits issued November 1st. We are approaching an inflection. So it's very extremely politicized, but they are saying we do not have money. This has to end on November 1st, which is a big play, let's say. I don't know if it is genuinely true that there isn't the money to fund it or not, but this is going to
it's wild because they found money for other
escalate.
things, right? They found money for the military.
Yes.
The tariff money has been applied to other things.
Yes. And SNAP is $100 billion a year, not a trillion, like I said, but it's $100 billion a year, which is a ton of money, right? So it's not like this is an easy thing to fund, but still, it's like a pretty critical thing to fund, most people would consider. And even there are folks like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's, very far right, who came out and said, like, this is absolutely unacceptable. We have to make a deal. We have to get this finished. We cannot have 40 million Americans losing.
It's just shocking number of people. I mean,
I think many people are also realizing how many people are on SNAP. Like a lot of people didn't realize the scale of this program. So there's part of that as well as like it's sort of forcing people to be aware of it.
Yeah, the use cases are so common. Like a really good friend of mine who was just out of work for a really long time, I think a little over a year, he was on food stamps until really recently. That's how he was paying for his groceries. And he's my age, similar career trajectory, was just out of work for the past year. Right. And that's how he was getting by. I think it's way more people than people understand and people way closer to you than you might think if you happen to be in a position where you don't need a program like SNAP. And I didn't realize
it's like 1 in 8 people in the country. It's like a crazy
40
high
million
amount
is
of
a
people.
shot. That's way higher than I thought. I would say I would have said 15 to the max.
So in 3 days, this is going to ramp up a lot. And it's going to be very interesting, I guess, to see what happens. I mean, I think no matter what, it's going to hit an inflection point soon. And so then the question is, who gives in? So again, right now, the high level Democrats are Republicans want to keep funding the government at the, let's say, current levels, the levels that have been used for the past 2 years that were voted in under Biden. And that's their argument. It's the same thing. Democrats are holding this and voting no until the subsidies for health insurance that are part of the ACA. Yeah, until those get basically confirmed that those are not going to go away in 2 months at the end of this year. So they are basically fighting to say, we want to keep these benefits that you have for your healthcare. Republicans are saying, no, let's deal with that later. And that is the impasse. So
it sounds like
nothing's changed in a month.
When we do next week's episode, we'll have a way bigger update on how this plays out, right? Because we'll already be past the longest shutdown ever if we make it all the way until next week.
Yes.
And it'll be past this month threshold where not only has the shutdown itself been more than 30 days, but we've past the first of the following month when a lot of people owe payments. Yes. You owe your rent payment, you owe your mortgage payment.
Millions of people working for the federal government won't have a paycheck. 40 million people on SNAP won't be able to get the food that they're accustomed to. Traffic control, like airports, are probably going to become even more distracted, and it'll be interesting to see if we can get in and out of the country because I'm planning on traveling in 2 days.
I know, the timing.
Yeah, so in theory, I'm getting out right before, then maybe I get to come back. Who knows? This is, next week will
air controllers are wearing thin. They're taking second jobs. They're out there looking, can I drive Uber? Can I find other source of income to make ends meet? Like it's,
the people running the airports aren't being paid right now.
Getting assigned your 6-day-a-week, 10-hour-a-day air traffic control schedule right now that was already understaffed, and then being like, can I throw in a day or two of Uber into this so I can make ends meet?
Dude,
is insane, dude.
The guy managing my life up there to be after like a 9-hour Uber shift with Aiden in a dog costume in the back seat talking about, like, it's crazy.
Somebody's screaming at him because he didn't pick up the right boba tea for DoorDash, and now he has to make sure my flight gets off the ground.
Yeah, I mean,
we just combine him, and he can start taking Uber orders from like Cincinnati, and he puts the food on the airplane. Let's get creative.
Chicago deep dish delivery.
I really want that Chicago deep dish.
Uber flight.
Uber flight. Yeah, next week's gonna be the big one. I mean, this is gonna be crazy.
I mean, these things do move fast at the end, where it seems like there's nothing happening, and then they get in a room. So it's
like it has to happen in the next like 4 days.
If we flash forward a week and it hasn't moved, that's crisis level. That's like a really bad, because we don't. I've been looking at, there's other countries, similarly like France, which are in political gridlocks. They can't pass a budget. They can't get anything done, but they have it written into their constitution in a way where if nothing gets figured out, it automatically pays out based on the previous budget. Like it defaults. Yeah. We don't have that in America. Like everything has to be done ad hoc, and it causes real problems until we get that figured out.
It touches so many people. Even visiting the bank this week, I was in line, and the person in front of me was asking questions about, what available programs do you guys have to support people who are affected by the shutdown right now? Most of the big banks in the US have some sort of help or like deferral program or something like that if your income is missing for this period of time. But I think, so many people have jobs that are tied to the federal government. And I'm surprised that we've reached day 28. Maybe I'm missing some big piece of news, but we've reached day 28 with so little update on the negotiation front.
Right. So shockingly, this is political. and so both sides are trying to basically get the public to sway onto their side, right? As we've talked about a bunch of times. One notable thing that I saw here is a major union that represents federal workers, the American Federation of Government Employees, on Monday urged the Democrats and said, stop, like just fund the government for now and debate and work with the Republicans for long-term demands around the ACA subsidies. Just reopen the government now. Just open it now. Because again, that's what the Republicans are saying, and that's their argument, standpoint is we want to just continue the budget the way it's been for years, the way it was under Biden. Let's just continue it right now. Democrats are saying no, there needs to be more. So they have this union with 820,000 federal workers like publicly telling the Democrats, stop this.
It's interesting to see, because I'm not saying that's the wrong call, but it's one of those things where you could choose to point the finger in either direction now, right?
You could point at the Republicans and say, agree to spend more. It's like,
pave and figure this out. And this was the big question we asked the first episode we introduced the shutdown, is at the end of all of this pain for so many people, who does the gamble pay off for? Typically, the party in power, which is the Republicans right now, seem to pay the political price the most often for extending this sort of situation. But because of how unfavorable the Democrats are, and also how blatantly political messages are on a site like we just looked at, right?
Website
every government agency website, the messaging is so intentionally angled at the Democrats. Is the payoff they were seeking the entire time even going to pan out? Will they just be the party that has ended up being blamed for this anyway?
Yeah, I mean, I read into that a bit. Part of it is that they don't have much to lose, though. They were already polling atrociously.
Yeah.
And if they cave here, it's not like it's going to be like, oh, you know what? They're all right.
We did. That's true.
They have nowhere to go but up. And a lot of their base is demanding something be done about Trump. And this is like their own, we talked about this before, but their only bit of leverage. Like I am skeptical that they could cave here and then negotiate their way into getting the...
What's the difference in going from like 20% approval to 15% approval?
At this point,
you may as well.
Yeah, the potential upswing is really high. And
the downswing is high. Like if they're seen as being weak or caving, which already plays into a thing that people have about the Democrats, then they could face themselves with even worse polling by giving in. You know what I'm saying? They feel a bit trapped, I think. And as far as I've followed this, Senate Republicans, they also poll pretty bad, and this has not been helpful for them. But Trump has he's a pretty solid 40% or whatever. It's low, It's not great, you know, but it's flat.
Out of 100? Yeah. Oh, that is bad.
Well, no, but I mean, most American presidents in our lifetimes poll around 40 to 48. Like nobody's ever been really positive except around 9/11 and like the beginning of your term. He's lower than he was in term 1 and he's lower than average, but he's pulling right around like Biden 21. And it's steady. It's flat. Like people have decided pretty much where they fall, and it's going to take something bigger to make them shift out of that, I think.
Well, speaking of something bigger, Trump has been working day and night to